My landlord insisted on keeping a spare key. He said it was for emergencies, fires, floods, maintenance issues when tenants were out of town. He said it casually, like it was standard practice. I remember hesitating for a moment before agreeing, but I needed the apartment, and I didn't want to start the lease by being difficult. For the first few months, nothing felt wrong. The building was quiet. My neighbors kept to themselves. And every time I came home, everything looked exactly the way I'd left it. That's why the bathroom mirror stood out immediately. It was fogged, just enough that I could still see my reflection underneath it. At first, I didn't stop. I walked past it like it was nothing. It took a few seconds for my brain to catch up. I hadn't showered that morning. I stood there longer than I meant to, trying to think of another explanation. Maybe the pipes had run hot. Maybe someone else in the building had used a lot of water at the same time. Those explanations didn't really make sense, but they were comforting. Then I noticed the towel. It was hanging the way I always left it, but it was damp, not soaked, just recently used. That was the moment I felt something shift, not panic, not fear, just uncertainty. Over the next few weeks, small things kept happening. The TV volume would be set to a different number than I remembered. The kitchen chair would be angled slightly away from the table. Once, I came home, and the lock on my door felt warm when I touched it. Each time, I told myself the same thing. If someone was really coming into my apartment, there would be proof, something obvious, something undeniable. But there never was. And that was the part I couldn't explain. When I finally mentioned it to my landlord, he laughed. Not in a cruel way, more like I just told him something mildly embarrassing. He said I was probably just stressed. He asked if work had been difficult lately. Then he reminded me that if I ever felt uncomfortable, I was free to move out. So I did. But not before installing a cheap motion camera in the living room. I didn't check the footage right away. I told myself there was no point, that I'd already decided to leave, and whatever was happening would be over soon. That was my mistake. I didn't review the footage until after I'd already packed my things. And by then, it didn't matter anymore.